So guys, CNN has been doing a series of town halls with the candidates. They did DeSantis on Tuesday. He did decide to go after Trump. He's been getting a little bit more aggressive towards Trump lately. Not that aggressive. It kind of reminds me of Ted Cruz. Remember how Ted Cruz is like, I'm going to finally tell you exactly what I think about Donald Trump. He's absolutely disgusting. He's blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, it's too late for that. Like, it's too late. Anyway, last night they had on Vivek Ramaswamy. And I realized that Vivek is having a really fun time spinning a bunch of yarns about everyone's favorite conspiracies. I mean, he really, like, from 9/11, January 6th was an inside job. I mean, that's okay. I'm sure there were some federal agents there. They haven't been honest with us about how many. The FBI director was very cagey when asked and wouldn't give the numbers. Okay, so was it FBI agents bear spraying cops in the face, pummeling them with flagpole? Like, all right. You can say they had a role and it's bullshit and we're entitled to know exactly what the role was without going full Alex Jones. But in any event, that's for his voters and everybody else to pass judgment on. But here's what is so annoying. That Abby Phillip is annoying. She is such an interrupter. Like, shut the F up. Let him make his point. If you want to fact check him later, then do it. Shut up, though. CNN has got an aversion to letting the words come out of the candidates' mouths. And it's really a disservice. Even if you don't agree with what he's saying, yeah, you invited him. Let him say it. Then do your fact check. Here's just a little bit of what happened.
The reality is we know that there were federal law enforcement agents in that field. We don't know how many. I think it's shameful. If I may finish just answering.
Well, let me
this
just.
is really important.
I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you here because
I know the establishment doesn't approve of this message. I know
that there were federal agents.
We should be able to talk about this.
You're saying that there were federal agents.
This is important to talk about.
You are saying there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
Yep.
There is no evidence that there were federal agents in the crowd on January 6th.
So why, before Congress, when pressed on what the number was, they didn't say there were none? They just couldn't say how many there were.
So you're saying that that you have not seen any evidence that there were.
We've seen multiple informants suggesting that there were. We know people were FBI informants who were asked to.
Is there any evidence?
May I just finish this and you can come back and question me?
Let me clarify.
I know it's very uncomfortable for you.
I'm going to clarify.
This is.
For the listening audience, Holmes has got his hand over his face. That's how I feel too. Go ahead, Ashbrook.
Here's the thing. We give this guy a really hard time on the program. Michael Duncan, chief among us. But he is paying for that microphone. He's like the one guy in the race who's literally paying out of his own pocket to be in the race. So he has the right to be able to say what it is that he wants to say. And I think he came off looking better in that exchange.
Yeah. Like, given the circumstances of like how terrible a job she was doing, he made the best of it. I mean, like, it's insane that he had the situation of where someone from CNN makes him look better by like saying, well, the facts may not agree with you, but is so terrible about it, and gives him the opportunity multiple times to dunk on her and being like, okay, since you're not going to allow me to finish, it's clear that you don't want me discussing it. It just adds more weight to his argument. If it seems like he's being censored.
That's exactly the thing. It's that Streisand, theory where like you try to suppress images of her house, and so then everybody Googles where her house is, and so everybody learns something they didn't even care in the first place. It's the same thing with Vivek, because like he's making a point. And I mean, we could get into all the things that are wrong and the point he's trying to make. But when you interrupt him, you're giving him exactly what he wants. Yeah, totally. Which is now, it's like, oh, well, I must be on to something because they don't want me saying.
What are we hiding?
Yeah.
What's out there?
Right. Which is, I too am like, I'm leaning in. The more she's trying to censor what he's saying, I'm like, what's he saying? Why is she so averse to it? Like his words are so vile, they cannot be uttered. They can be uttered. Abby, let him finish. You invited him there. Let him make his damn point. And if you watch the whole clip, it's not like he was going on forever. Like it was a reasonable amount of time he took to set up his point. Just fucking let him make it. Okay, here's the second thing that's bothering me, right? Yeah. Here's the second thing that's bothering me.
There's no quicker way for me to support someone than CNN being an ass to them. Like,
Same.
That sounds like someone who I would agree with them.
100%. I'm ready to vote for him now just because of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oliver Darcy of CNN doesn't feel as we do. Here's what he remember the CNNers had a complete meltdown when they did a town hall with Trump. Similar reaction by him. This is what he wrote. handing Ramaswamy a microphone and putting him on a stage affixed, wait for it, with CNN's iconic branding to answer audience questions helps validate him and provides oxygen to the menacing wildfire of delusions he has pushed into the public discourse. The notion that the infotainer, who CNN has reported struggles for relevance as he polls in the low single digits and remains exceedingly unlikely to be the Republican Party's nominee, deserves an hour-long national platform to sell his personal brand and insidious talking points to the masses, taxes the imagination. Oliver Darcy has pronounced Vivek should no longer be platformed. Even though he is polling 5% in the latest poll, we all know he's not going to win unless something catastrophic happens to everybody who's polling way, way above him. But he has pronounced it over and said Vivek should no longer be platformed because of CNN's iconic brand. What do you guys think of that?
This is where I wish we had the board going, because the statement that you read from Oliver Darcy would be a perfect overlay to a West Wing thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
This just like weird fictional place that libs live that, you can just sort of platform who you want and talk about the virtues of these things, and other people should not be able to. But I think, honestly, in both of these cases, Megyn, there's still a cadre of journalists, and this falls into like the old corporate journalism place, and this will be familiar to you, having have dealt with it in your life and career, that their constituency is entirely made up of each other. And what they want to do is impress their fellow journos. It's not really about informing the actual electorate. It's not about news. We know that for damn sure on CNN. It's about impressing their like-minded journo colleagues who, either would blanch at any sort of suggestion that Vivek Ramaswamy makes in public, and so they can say, "Well, I've pushed him hard," and everybody can say, "Yes, you did. You were a very good job on that." And Oliver Darcy kind of falls into the same category. It's disgusting that that's still where there is a segment of media, but yeah, I mean, look, it shows up more often than it doesn't on these major stations.
It was pretty precious. I mean, the iconic brand, what is that, the one that Don Lemon built, that Jeff Zucker built? Is that walk us through it? That the Malaysian flight went missing into a black hole. Is that your iconic brand? Your Russiagate, your COVID, your fake Chris Cuomo coming out of the basement, pretending he had not been out, and you put it on TV like it was real and not an acting job. That's your iconic. Okay. In any event,
don't
so
forget
fun
about
to watch these.
breathless coverage of the poop boat. They did a year-long coverage of that ship that was stuck in the Gulf of Mexico.
the cruise ship.
Poop boat. Yeah. Not to mention Chris Cuomo, reporting on his brother, having his brother on, giving him a total pass on all the COVID Okay, iconic. I mean, maybe, but not for the reasons you think. All right, they continue to go on there trying to turn things around. I look forward to seeing whether it happens. Debt. You can go to bed thinking about it and wake up thinking about it. High interest credit cards and loans make it nearly impossible to pay off your debt. And insane inflation keeps you stuck paycheck to paycheck. The system traps you in debt. Donewithdebt.com can be a lifeline. I've talked about my own experience with debt in the past, so I know what it's like. Trust me, it's been a while, but I was there and it hurt. Donewithdebt.com has a new strategy to help erase your debt faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Here's what they can do for you. Analyze all the debt options you qualify for, minimize interest rates, cut medical bills, and reduce debt without bankruptcy and without a loan. But you need to hurry. Some debt solutions are time sensitive. Go to donewithdebt.com. Find out how easy they make it and find out if it's right for you. That's donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.